For cheap and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins, check out EasyMut.com and use code SPORTS for 5% off your entire order. It's your boy Duke, back from SportsGamers.com. In today's Madden 21 tip video, we're dropping an exclusive for y'all. I'm about to break down how to read defenses in Madden 21. I'm about to break down some really high level, advanced, premium information that's going to allow you guys to really exploit the defense and know how to attack each and every defense and coverage you're going to see out there. This is the type of stuff that pros use to really dominate, and this can be the difference between basically setting up a money play and knowing how to attack the coverage, whether it's a route combo or one play touchdown, before you even snap the ball, to basically guessing what the defense is doing. Now, when you already know what the defense is doing, you have a huge advantage versus guessing. We're about to just hop into practice mode. I always recommend picking the offense that you guys like to run. So like me, I really like running this gun bunch offset from the Carolina book, but just really pick whatever formation you like to run on offense yourself and go from there. So then we're going to just hop into the defense, and we're just going to pick all the popular coverages you tend to see out there. So I want to start with man coverage. All right, cover 2 man, cover 1 man, whatever. Press man coverage. This is something you guys see online nonstop. And you guys can see here that with man coverage, what you want to do, and what you want to do always when you're reading the defense, is immediately when you break the huddle, you want to look at the defensive backs. You don't want to look at your players on offense, but you actually want to look at the defensive backs, because they're the key in knowing what's going on. And you want to look at them right away, because the defense can start doing adjustments and whatnot that could confuse you. But if you look at the corners and the safeties right away, you're going to already pretty much know what coverage you're facing. And these are very small differences you have to pay close attention to. So starting with this cover 2 man, you guys can see, you look at this outside left receiver and cornerback, you can see that corner lines up to the inside of the receiver. Now, this is very key, because this is going to allow you to know the difference between, like a cover 3 or cover 4, or even a cover 2, is just looking at how this outside left corner lines up. Now, there's different types of man coverage. There's 2-man unders, and there's cover 1s, but there are also cover 0 blitzes, guys. Cover 0 blitzes, are gonna basically have a different alignment. Now, with this, cover 2 man and whatever, you guys can see that before we even do anything, we already got this corner pressed over here, and he's lined up to the inside. Now, if we audible to spinner, that's like a man-to-man blitz, right? You guys can see that 2 things happen. First of all, this corner backs up, because he's not going to want to press if he's playing cover 0. And then you can also see that the safeties, they come up into the box. Like, they come up a good couple yards, because, again, they're actually in man coverage now. They're no longer in deep zones. So they're going to come up, line up way further if they're in a cover 0 blitz versus then just a cover 2 man. So let's go back to the regular cover 2 man. And once again, you guys can see that this safety backed up. Not sure why this one didn't. Both of them really should have. But the safety's back up, and the corner comes down into, the press position, lined up inside a step or so inside this receiver. Now we're going to look at cover 2 and cover 3. Look at the differences between those two. Now, before we get too much further into the video, I just want to remind you guys, if you're enjoying my content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button in the corner of the video, and also turn your notifications on so you don't miss out on our videos when they go live, guys. We do videos each and every day, from gameplay to tips. You're not going to want to miss out. Also, smash that like button, guys, if you really rock with me. That support means a lot. And in the meantime, if you want to get better at Madden 21, if you like our YouTube content, you're definitely going to want to check out SportsGamers.com, our premium members-only content. We have the Madden Vault tip subscription, which gives you 4 to 6 tips every week to stay ahead of the meta. And our offensive and defensive ebooks are fire, the best available you're going to find anywhere. So make sure to check those out, SportsGamers.com. So guys, now we're in cover 2. Now you guys can see this looks very similar to cover 2 man. You guys can see this corner over here. He's lined up a little bit to the outside of this receiver. The safeties are kind of at the same depth. The only difference is, look at this outside corner. You guys remember man coverage, he was up pressed, but he was lined up to the inside of the receiver. Now look how he's shaded to the outside of the receiver, guys. That's very, very key. So if we go ahead and audible back to man coverage, just look at this. Look at the corner. That's audible back to man coverage. See how he moves to the inside. Now, another tell about man coverage, I don't know if you guys just noticed, but if you're in sets with multiple DBs, like 4 DBs, like a dollar, and we're in a bunch of trip set, obviously all the DBs are going to line over the receivers. So here we can clearly tell this is man because the DB moved back over this receiver, versus if we go back to cover 2, see how he goes right back over to the slot because it's zone, so he doesn't need to be lined up directly over the receiver. But again, mainly paying attention to that outside corner. Look how he shades the receiver to the outside, but when we audible to man, he shades him to the inside. And you guys might be wondering, what about like cover 3 or cover 4? So let's look at cover 3 now, and you guys can see a big difference between cover 3 and cover 2. So we're audible to cover 3, and you can see that, first of all, when cover 2, the DBs are lined up, and this is a little bit different for each defensive formation versus each offensive formation. So you definitely want to, like I said, run the offensive formation in practice mode you're going up against, and then also look at all sorts of different defensive formations because there are slight differences. But generally speaking, this stuff will apply no matter what formation you run on offense and just all over the place on defense. Anyways, so cover 3, you guys can see that this corner that was pressed in cover 2, he's not pressed anymore. I mean, he's lined up close, but he is about 2 to 3 yards back, or maybe even 3 to 4 yards back instead of directly on top of the receiver. Also, instead of lining up to the outside of the receiver like he was in cover 2, he's lined up directly across or directly over the receiver. He's not lined up inside nor outside. You guys can see again, if we audible back to cover 2, look again, he's pressed and he's shading that outside shoulder of the receiver. But in cover 3, he's backed up a little bit, and then he's also directly across or over the top of the receiver, not lined up inside or outside. Now, let's look for these next few examples. Let's switch formations up a bit. Let's go into just different formations. Let's go to nickel normal, just so you guys can see a little bit of a different type of formation, because this right here only has nickel back. It doesn't have a dime back, and it does have an extra linebacker. So let's go back to cover 3 real quick. Let's just pick cover 3 sky. Now, obviously, guys, some cover 3s are going to just show a single high look. And what I mean by that is if you look at the safeties, you only see one safety high. It'll be one safety high instead of both safeties high. Obviously, if you just see one safety high, that's going to be a cover 3 or cover 1 look, but I don't really want to focus on that because that's pretty obvious. But if you do find that, some cover 3s will be like that, like cover 3 from 3-4 bear. And really, all the coverages in general, but cover 3 from 3-4 bear, you guys see the single high safety. If you see this, you pretty much know they're either in cover 3 or cover 1. But like I said, that's pretty obvious, so I don't really want to spend too much time on that. I want to more so focus on this more advanced coverages. So let's go back to cover 3 sky to nickel normal, and we'll continue to break down these differences. So again, you guys can see that in nickel normal, it's a little bit different than dollar because we have 2 linebackers and then just a nickel back. But you guys can see that this corner, he's lined up a little bit further back than he was in dollar. But still, the same thing applies in that he's directly over the receiver. He's not like shading him inside or outside. But if we switch back to like cover 2, you guys can see he shades him more to his outside shoulder and he's closer up. And same thing with man. Man, again, he's directly pressing, and now he's lined up to the inside of the receiver. Now, if we switch back to cover 2, again, he's lined up more so like closer, but not as close as man, and not as far back as cover 3. If we press coverage this, you'll see that, again, he's shading that outside shoulder of the receiver. Now, guys, you might wonder, like, if they're in man coverage, they can definitely shade you outside. And you'll see that, he lines up immediately to the inside, but if they shade outside, he might line up to the outside. And you might wonder, well, how do I know if he's shaded or he just audible to like cover 2? Well, if I just shade, he just directly lines up to the inside or the outside, like here you guys can see. But if I audible, what's going to happen is he's going to actually have to move back, and, he's not going to just directly do that. He'll have to move back, and then he'll move to the outside. He just won't directly move to the outside. But anyways, getting back to the cover 3, you can see that, he does line up way, 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 way further back, that corner does, than he normally would in a cover 2 or cover 2 man. Now, you might be wondering, what about cover 4? So let's just go look at cover 4 now. And you're going to also see some slight differences here. So, cover 4, you're going to see that again, these corners do very similar things to they do at a cover 3. First of all, they're lined up a little further back than cover 2 or man. You can see that they even line up further back than cover 3. See how cover 3 is about, that 3-4 yard depth. However, cover 4 it's even past 5 yards. Cover 4 is basically the same type of depth as a cover 0 blitz. You guys can see here. The only difference is, and again, in the cover 0 blitz, you'll see that the safeties move up, and also the corners line up to the inside of the receiver. Similar to cover 3, when you're in cover 4, the corners do not line up inside nor outside or outside of the receiver. It's just directly over the top. Just the depth is different. So again, you guys can see what I'm talking about. These differences are very, very small, but they definitely will tell you what coverage the defense is playing. You just have to pay very, very, very close attention. Now, if they press you out of cover 4, it's pretty much the same thing here. You'll see that actually they kind of line up similarly to man, whereas this guy, he's lined up directly to the inside shoulder of the receiver. Okay, so it kind of almost looks like man, but not quite as much, because again, if you see with man coverage, notice how it's that extra step further inside, whereas cover 4, he's to the inside, but he's not just quite as far. Also, again, remember, if you're playing against a 4 DB formation with 2 slot backs, or slot cornerbacks, excuse me, and you're in like a trips receiver set or a bunch receiver set, always against zone, the corner is going to stay, on the same side of the field. He's not going to run across the formation like he does in man coverage. So that's just another easy tell. Also, man coverage, like by default in this dollar, you're seeing that this corner over here, he's pressing, but this one is not. So again, little small differences. And again, this stuff is going to translate. You just have to go look at whatever formation you guys run in practice mode on offense and look at all these little slight differences. I promise you guys, this is the type of premium advanced info you guys need. Show a lot, but it really does make a huge, huge difference. So I hope this video helped you guys out. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, it's Duke. Check out sportsgamers.com. In the meantime, for more great Madden 21 content,